Hello and thanks for joining the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. Today on the program, Buhari Oshibajo visit Plateau State, says perpetrators of killings won't go unpunished. And later on the show, Oshiomhole says no losers at APC convention as Saraki Dogara tell him to stamp out injustice. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Ismail Omikbidon, and Wahid Bakari. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Really, the last few days I've seen killings of over 100 souls in 11 villages of Plateau State, and the attendant outpouring of emotions has been spontaneous. Such is what Nigerians have been confined to in the face of wanton killings occasioned by spate of insecurity in some parts of the country. President Muhammadu Buhari has visited the states to assess the level of security reinforcement and personally condole with victims of killings. Now, the president reaffirmed government commitment to peace, justice in the country. This is after the Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, visited the troubled Plateau on Monday, where he also vowed that perpetrators of the heinous crime won't escape justice. But Nigerians will want to ask, will justice ever be served in this matter? Babajide, we've seen top government functionaries making promises like this. It's a good development. I was talking with my producer before we started the show, and we thought it was going to be about the vice president, and getting the breaking news that President Muhammadu Buhari is in Plateau State now. Yeah. It's so cheering. But moving forward, apart from the sound bites, what do we expect?
I'm not so excited about the president visiting a place or the vice president visiting Benue State and speaking the right grammar. That is not what excites me. What I want to see is these people brought to book. The vice president said we must condemn killing of any kind. It doesn't matter whether these killings are by headsmen, killing villagers who in one way or the other have killed others, including headsmen. There's no reason at all for anyone who commits these offenses to escape justice. It's not about rhetorics. It's not about, saying those things that will at least make people happy. It's about serving justice to people who murder fellow Nigerians in a manner that suggests to the rest of the world that we are animals here. It's about bringing those people to justice. And I think every Nigerian has that obligation to continue to challenge our government to do what is right. Killer S-men have been arrested, so many of them. Nigerians must continue to shout that those arrested for wasting souls must be brought to book. They must be brought to justice. We see criminals paraded. Those who kill people in Offa, they were paraded. We see signs that they are going to be put before a court. How many of these killers in Benue and other places have been taken before any court? This is what Nigerians should demand for. This is what you and I and other journalists who take their job seriously, this is what they should be asking for. Not demanding that the president should go somewhere and other. No. We've seen clearly that the president even going to a place where they kill people does not stop the killings. He went to Zamfara. A few days after that, the bandits still kill people. What we want to see is for these killings to end. The killings will not end if we do not serve justice. We do not serve justice to people who are killing fellow Nigerians. And we have evidence that people have been arrested, but we do not see any sign that they have been brought before any court. The leader of the killer headsmen, on February 21, DCP Abakiari announced that Alhaji Luga is the head of the killer S-men wasting people in Benue and Nasarawa State. He was arrested inside Tunga Forest in Nasarawa State after a 3-day operation. Up till today, we have not seen Luga, or is it Lagi that is name? We've not seen Lagi brought before any judge. Why is it taking so long? The army
must be updated.
Nigerians need to be told. The army arrested 162 killer herdsmen. 147 of them arrested in Benue alone. The remaining killer herdsmen were arrested in Taraba. The army announced that it has handed over those arrested to the police. What is the police doing with these people? Have they been brought before any court? There was the army also arrested in Abuja 92 herdsmen that were found with assault rifles. And they said, where are you going? They said that their cattle were rustled. Therefore, they were going to retrieve their stolen cattle. But no Nigerian has the right to carry the kind of weapons that they carried. So they effected the arrest. What has happened since then? That one was in February 2016. When are we going to make these people pay for killing people? You have arrested militants. Because in Benue, there are also militants. They are cultists. I've told people that, what's his name? The former governor, Suswam, that was arrested. His arrest had nothing to do with killer herdsmen. Of course, there are Nigerians who want people to believe that even it is the thief people who are killing themselves in the name of killer herdsmen, which is a lie from the pit of hell. The thieves and other people in Benue State, they have other killer gangs, like the people who went to Zakibiam to kill people. Those are cult-related killings for which someone has been declared wanted, and the governor, the former governor of the state, has been arrested. They want him to make some explanations in respect to that. Those people too, those cultists killing people in Benue, how many of them have been served justice? We can't continue like this. If you do not make people pay for killing fellow Nigerians, they will not learn. They will think that if they kill people, that they will get away with it. That's why we are. Even if all the Federal Executive Council members go to Plateau, it will not solve the problem. What will solve the problem is for us to show to Nigerians that when you do this, this is what you get. No one has the right to take another man's life. Even if they steal 1,000 cattle that belongs to you, you have no right to go and kill innocent people in their sleep. Kill vulnerable people, women and old people. You are killing them. Those are not the people who stole your cattle. Confront the people who stole your cattle. Not go and kill innocent people. The people who steal your cattle in Brini Gwari, how many of them have you confronted? The people who steal your cattle in Zamfara, how many of them have you confronted? Well, you go to villages where people have no means of defending themselves, and you are killing them. And some people call that retaliation. Retaliation should be against the person who committed the crime, not against innocent women. I mean, this nonsense has to stop in our country.
Ismail, looking at the trend now, and a lot of people have been saying the willpower to combat this, because it's 7 months to the election. And a lot of people have been saying that the decisiveness in which Mr. President used in quelling the threat of IPOB, that they've not seen it at play in the area of this herdsmen, that more pronouncement and more legislation and, more action should be taken against these killer herdsmen, like declaring them, terrorists.
I think I quite agree with those who believe that the president has not really done enough as far as arresting these menace is concerned. And I've said here repeatedly that most Nigerians who tend to blame Buhari for the killing probably have justification for blaming him. And one of the justification is the fact that as a private citizen, he once led a group to Oyo State in 2001 under Lam Adesina, when there were some skirmishes between the natives there and the Fulani. And the language he made before the governor was that, why are you killing my people? That was the language. So people are now saying that, look, if you can identify these people as your people, as a private citizen, how come it is difficult for you to nip whatever misbehaving they are carrying out as the president of the country. We're all in this country when OPC was almost becoming a problem to us in this country. We saw how Obasanjo dealt with it. Yes. Obasanjo said, if you see anybody who calls himself APC, shoot the person. We saw how Gani Adams, who is today the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò,
Ààrẹ was incarcerated for several months.
He was arrested and handcuffed like a common criminal.
Yes, they removed his dress self.
He was arrested like a common criminal. And for me, that is a sign from Mr. President that, look, even though you are from my part of the country, I will not take this nonsense. I think until Mr. President show us that kind of example, I tell you, these killings will not stop.
It won't.
It won't stop. Let's face the fact. It won't stop. And again, when I read the statement from the presidency yesterday over this killing, I was taken aback. I had expected them to probably condemn the killing, you know, and stop at that. But let me just read a paragraph from the statement signed by Malam Garba Shehu. He said, according to the information available to the presidency, about 100 cattle had been rustled by a community in Plateau State, and some herdsmen were killed in the process. The state governor, Simon Lalong, had invited the aggrieved groups and pleaded against further action, while the law enforcement agents looked into the matter. Less than 24 hours later, violence broke out. Some local thugs then took advantage of the situation, turning it into an opportunity to extort the public and to attack people from rival political parties. For me, I think that is unbecoming.
It's a shameless...
Because the presidency, that is why people
so
most times...
has been reduced to
yes.
the
And that is why people believe very strongly that the president is deliberately condoning it. And look, the president has come out openly to tell us that he gave the IGP a directive, and the IGP flouted it, for God's sake. I mean, I'm a head of a unit where I work. I cannot give my subordinate a directive and the subordinate flout it, and I won't take any action. It's not possible.
Not possible.
So it is either the presidency is enjoying what is happening, or perhaps for political convenience, it lacks
no, they are the only ones who can explain.
You know, the political way to take action.
Jude, but when you look at it, the victims here, many a times, these rustlers, their victims are even the hapless Fulani man on the streets. So no attempt to give this a kind of ethnic coloration or anything. No. But the victims, at the end of the day, still happen to be people from the north. Yes. They are people.
Yes. In Briningwari, I've said it before. The people rustling cattle in Briningwari are Fulani.
Fulanis.
The people stealing cattle in Zamfara are Fulani. Their victims are Fulani. The innocent people that they kidnap from villages for which the armed forces have been powerless to stop the nonsense are Fulani. That was why the Emir of Anka called out Fulani leaders and said the Fulani leaders must call their people to order. That's the Emir of Anka. The Emir of Anka. He said, Fulani leaders, that these killings are embarrassing. And that the leaders of the Fulani should do something about it. It's not Babajide that said it. It's the Emir of Anka. And these things are in the open.
You know, you even mentioned it yesterday that some even outside people, they were trying to protect these Bureau people, their neighbors.
In Kura Falls, they told the killers that, no, you cannot kill these people. We've been living with them for years in peace. And they had to hide them inside the mosque. Hide people inside the mosque. Because when the militia comes to town, they don't know anybody. These are hired people. They pay them to come and kill people. This is a lie that they are attacking people from rival political parties. Those who continue to give the impression that what is going on is political, they don't fear God. They don't fear God. And one day, God will call each and every one of us to account. Because clearly, when someone comes to say, and he gives you a long list of grievances, and he says, they stole my cattle here, they stole, another time, they stole 300 here. What he's telling you is that the latest attack was as a result of provocation.
Provocation, yes.
You understand? And then you now in a dishonest manner, because you think every Nigerian can be deceived, you now moved away try to divert our attention, you are now saying, oh, it's
It's
politicians
politicians.
who don't want Buhari to win. That they are the ones behind it. How? If in the past some people used it against Buhari, that they claimed that Buhari was behind Boko Haram, we fought it. We fought it. We countered that narrative that, look, you cannot say Buhari is behind Boko Haram. It now looks convenient for us to choose not to learn from history. Now some misguided Nigerians are today saying, oh, these killings are political. When we can see clearly that it is economic.
Yes.
The herdsman wants to survive. It depends on grazing land. The farmer, too, needs to survive.
Protect his crop.
He wants to protect his crop. So we can't even put 2 and 2 together anymore. We now say, oh, it's some politicians. Why can't we arrest those politicians? Did we not arrest people who took Dazuki money? Why are we not showing the same result to go out? Those people who took Dazuki money, they are politicians now. We arrested them. Why can't we arrest so-called politicians if they are the ones behind these killings? Well, of course, it's a lie. Politicians are not behind this. It is a case of, it is purely economic. And government has an obligation whether they are politicians or not. We don't want to hear whether they are politicians or not. Government has an obligation to stop the killings because it's giving Nigeria a bad name.
It shows a level of proactiveness when, if the vice president was there yesterday, and today the president is there, showing that it's no longer business as usual. Before, people could die and everything, and maybe the vice president would just go, and a lot of Nigerians will be saying, how come we've not seen Mr. President?
Well, I want to commend them for, if you say it's being proactive, I want to use your word, that because I want to believe that if the president can visit Bauchi State for a natural disaster that claimed 8 lives and was there weeping, I believe very strongly that he should have been the first person to visit Jos, especially because Jos was happening while the APC convention was going on. But having said that, let us commend them for even having the courage to visit. But it must go beyond visitation. For me, the only proactiveness I would have seen in this matter is by this afternoon, before going to Jos, if he announced the sack of those in charge of our security apparatus. Because obviously, you cannot continue to be doing the same thing all the time and get a different result. It's not possible. It's not possible. Let's stop deceiving ourselves.
Why is it difficult to
I don't
get
know.
It's
a question everybody has been asking. And nobody seems to have an answer to them. Nobody seems to have an answer to them. Because, look, if I keep you here for 1 month, 2 months, and I don't see any difference, why must I continue to keep you there? I should try someone else and see whether there is we all saw what happened to the fight against Boko Haram. Once he came in, he changed the leadership, and we saw results. Even Burate, who is the chief of army staff, once he appears not to be getting results from the northeast, he changes the commanders. And once
at his own level.
At his own level.
He changes his theater commanders regularly.
Yes, and once he does that,
done a lot of deployments.
Once he does that, we see results. So why would the commander-in-chief be sitting down and pretending as if nothing is happening?
Quoting Mr. President, even from the APC NEC meeting that was held one time, where it's time to allow people with fresh blood, it's time to allow people with new ideas, give them the opportunities within the party, and they should be able to aspire. We have young officers. We have, somebody even told me about one of the top service chiefs that personally confided in that he's even tired, but they've refused to allow him to go.
Yes, they extended their stay.
So and when somebody that is reluctant is there, how will it bring...
You know the implication of that. When you extend their stay like that, what you have done is to deny those some army officers who belong to some courses the opportunity to produce a service chief. And
if they produce it, it will just be a short time before their retirement.
Some of them will never be able to produce because these guys have overstayed.
They have overstayed.
They are welcome. Naturally, they ought to have left. And probably you pick one of them and make that person the chief of defense staff and let others go. That is what happens everywhere. But the president is extremely reluctant to even make appointment. You saw that more than 1 year, Kogi lost a minister.
Ocholi.
And he didn't replace Ocholi. This president promised us that he will make changes.
And
the moment he came back from
his cabinet.
he will expand his cabinet, he will make changes. It didn't
It's
happen.
it's close to a year now since that
It
promise
didn't
was
happen.
made.
Since he
it has
came
not
back,
happened.
since he came back.
You know, so
It didn't happen.
You know,
So I think that is what extends. This is that nature of his that has extended to leaving these service chiefs, leaving the IG and others in place, even when we are not getting results. People are being killed. At no time in our history can one say that people's lives have been as cheap as they are now. That's a fact.
I have Adams. Adams is calling us from Jos. Hope it's not our own Adams. Hello, Adams.
Hello.
Okay.
Yeah, good evening.
Thank you for joining us,
Good
Adams.
evening.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to add my own, air my own view concerning your discussion.
Okay, please feel free.
Yeah. Like yesterday I was following the program, and I must say I like Babajide, but yesterday I was not on the same page with Babajide because
allowed.
Babajide was trying to justify what happened in Jos.
Justify
What
how?
happened in Jos was a pre-planting. You know, before the attack, men went and destroyed about 64 farms in Riom local government, and nobody has mentioned that. Nobody has said anything about that before the attack. And if we want to really handle this attack, I think the Mighty Allah people should be arrested, so that it serves as a deterrent to other people. Because you cannot kill because cows were killed. It is not justifiable. I think this is.
Thank you, Adams.
Adams, yesterday, that was what we were saying.
It's the same
we
thing.
said it makes no
Basically
sense
the same
to
thing.
take lives.
For 1 hour.
Yes,
For 1 hour, that's
followed-
what same thing.
What some of you viewers don't want to see is for one to be objective. If you blame this side, you blame the other side. You don't want, if we do that, you now say that person is biased. Oh, you don't like what he said. See, but the thing is, blame should be apportioned on both sides.
Both sides, yes.
There was peace in this Plateau state before, until the incident involving the killing of that Fulani boy on the farm. That was when violence returned.
Yeah. Okay.
So we must, if we want peace, if we want these killings to end, we should be able to say this is your fault on this side. You too, this is your fault. But if you don't want us to do that, you want us to blame the other side and leave your own side. It will not happen. It will not happen.
Okay, let me quickly pay these bills. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back after this time out. Stay with us. Oh, welcome back. This is Journalist Hangout. We're reaching you live from Television Continental here in Lagos, Nigeria, and we're still looking at the killings in Plateau states. And Babaji, when you check out what has been happening in Benue, and Benue for some time now has not been in the news for large-scale killings like this and everything, and somebody confirmed it today that this figure can never be 89, that the people that were killed can never be 89, that what happened there was just something. So I've been seeing some videos. I've even refrained from attempting to watch any of these gruesome videos and everything. And it's almost a lawless community when people can go, berserk for 3-4 hours and for long, nobody will stop them. And 24 hours later, the only thing the IGP will say, yes, we've sent the special forces there, we deployed the helicopter, all these, medicine after death measures. But we've not seen arrests. But we've arrested 20 people, we've arrested 30 people, and those people, they've made initial statements.
Look, what I heard was up to 200 people died. The operation began around 1 p.m. and lasted till the next day. So They were unrestrained.
1 p.m.
Yes, they
Not
were
1 a.m.
1 p.m. on Saturday.
Yes, 1 p.m.
They were unrestrained in killing people.
Free for all.
And they were moving from village to village. Yes. It's the same team. The people had no escape because a lot of those areas are inaccessible. So soldiers can't even do a kind of rapid response to go and save people. Because those places, the roads are terrible. You need to travel like 3 hours from Barkin-Ladi to some of those places where they kill people. During that time, if you must travel that far, they will have finished wiping out a community before you get there. It's the same problem that we have in Dansadao, in Zamfara State, where they are killing people. A lot of those villages are inaccessible by vehicles. Some of those villages, you can only get there on a bike. And that's what the killers use. Yes. The bandits who are killing people in Brenengwari and Zamfara, they come on bikes, 3 of them on a bike, and all 3 carrying AK-47. Before you come with your own multi-terrain vehicles, you know, and storm the area where they are killing people, they will have finished the operation and left. So this is what is happening. And we all know that because of our poor health institutions and all that, most people injured in this kind of attacks, they end up dying. So the casualty figure will go up. Of course, at the time when the police came up with the figure of 86, many people were still lying, many corpses were still lying in the bush, unclaimed. And some people had even buried their own people quickly. Because you know the indignity that accompanies not burying your dead early. Because it will decompose, it will amount to dishonoring the dead. To just allow their remains to not be buried and decompose and all that. So some people will not even waste time. They'll quickly bury their dead. So we will never be able to get the accurate figure. And of course, we are even hearing stories that the soldiers are appealing to people to quickly bury their dead and all that, to stave off epidemic and so that the tension will not be aggravated. So these are reasons for which you will not be able to say this is the but if the police can confirm 86, you can be sure that much more than 86 persons died. You know, it is testament to the fact that life has become brutish and extremely cheap in our country, that 86 people will be wiped out in one day. If 10 people get killed by terrorists in France, the whole world will go and converge.
They will even be changing their DPs on Facebook.
On France. And you'll see hypocritical Nigerians using the pictures of dead French people as their DP or the flag of the country
that are associated with them.
Who has used the colors of Plateau, for example, as DP since these killings began? This is the way we are. We value the life of the white man more than we value our lives. More than we value the lives of our own people. And it's such a shame. It's a big shame that these killings are going on in our country.
Way forward, way out of this. We've said this, we are going to continue to say it, and after some time now, another event will happen. It will take the front page away from this. Maybe if Nigeria should play in the next 1 hour now, and God is giving us this, and we win Argentina, I'm sure the papers tomorrow, they'll just go and talk it somewhere. We move on, we move on. That's the way we are.
But from what I've read in the social media so far, I've even seen some Nigerians saying they are going to boycott our match against Argentina because of the pain. You know, of this incident. But talking about the way forward, I don't really know why it is difficult for our president to rejig his security. I don't know, because the thing is, allowing these same people, honestly,
who are clueless.
Well, I don't see how this thing will change.
They can't come out with any.
So the only way forward is for Mr. President to give marching orders to his security chiefs, including the IGP. Probably by firing them tomorrow morning or even this night and bringing new persons. Maybe. Because, you know, when people stay for too long in a place, they become complacent. Comfort zone. You know, comfort zone. They can't think you know, anymore.
extra vigor.
Nothing new.
No new ideas.
No new idea. So maybe bring in somebody else and let's see what this person can do.
Okay.
And apart from bringing somebody else, all those that have been arrested must be charged to court and prosecuted. And all those who are still making noise in the media must also be taken in.
Okay, I have Mr. Cletus.
Dr. Cletus.
Dr. Cletus, thank you for joining us.
Hello.
Yes, thank you for joining us, Doctor. Your contribution.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yes, the issue of herdsmen killing has become a national matter of concern. Indeed, it has attracted international condemnation. And those who come from the affected parts of the country, like Benue State, citizens live in fear. Nobody is sure of who next will fall victim of the herdsman's bullets. Sometimes it is difficult to understand how these herdsmen carry out the killings and escape without being caught, without any effort from the security agencies to arrest any one of them and bring them to justice. Sometimes it's difficult to even understand the sophistication of the weaponry that is deployed to carry out these killings. And all you hear from the managers of the country's security establishment is that it's communal clash. There is no issue of communal clash here. How could it be communal clash where people who are itinerant, who are not resident in this part of the country, attack a helpless and completely unarmed women, children, and the old in their home states? This can certainly not be a clash. It is certainly a well-orchestrated attack by those who have reasons for what they are doing. I think we need to get more serious about this issue of herdsmen killing.
Thank you for your contribution, Dr. Cletus. Thank you for that contribution. Still to come, Oshiomhole says no losers at APC convention as Saraki Dogara tell him to stamp out injustice. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Still your groundbreaking program of the year, Journalist Hangout. It's a fresh start for the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. New set of party leaders have been elected and sworn in, with former Edo State Governor Adams Ali Oshiomhole as the new emsman. Now, the fresh breath of air came after the party's national convention in Abuja, involving about 6,800 delegates. Sounding reconciliatory during his inaugural speech on Sunday, Oshiomhole declared that there were no losers as all contestants were winners at the convention, the party's second since its formation in 2014. But the APC's new national chairman has been handed a tall order that Senate President Abubakar Bukola Saraki and Yakubu Dogara told him to stamp out injustice and bring all members together at work, to work as a team. Babajide, there were no losers. I saw you.
You should go and tell Osita Izuna so that there's no loser. Because people who contested, people like Farouk Adamu Aliu, who was defeated as the president's man. It's a surprise to me that one of the president's most notable supporters was defeated in this election. So you can't tell Farouk Adamu Aliu that there were no losers. You can't tell Osita Izunaso that there were no losers. You can't tell the people who were cheated in Adamawa State by a governor who believed in the winner takes all principle that there were no losers. You can't tell those who were shut out of the process in Kaduna that there were no losers. You can't tell Kwankwaso, who does not have a single delegate, that there were no losers. You can't say that. Osita Izunaso lost to Emmanuel Ibediro. Remember Osita and Ben Nwajumogu, who represents Imo North, and Ararume.
And Madumeri, the deputy governor.
Yes, Madumeri. They came together to fight the governor and ensure that Okorocha played no part in the congresses that were held in the state, right from the world congresses.
Local governments.
But also, by the time we got to the national convention, other governors felt that it will not be okay to thoroughly shame Okorocha. He's been disgraced at the level of his state. But at the national level, he shouldn't face a fresh disgrace.
The chairman
so
of the
they
APC
decided,
Governors Forum.
Yes, as chairman of the APC Governors Forum, or Progressive Governors Forum, as they like to call themselves. So they first made him chairman of the screening, the petitions committee and all that. But in the end, the battle for supremacy between his own group and it was so fierce that the blows were exchanged even when the president was talking. You know, even when the president was addressing
a lot of
the party.
attention was in the Delta State, but no, in Imo State, the battle continued unabated for a long time.
Until in their wisdom, the leadership of the party said only statutory delegates can vote. You had to organize a contest between both men. It was a close race, but Osita Izunaso lost his seat. You cannot tell those NWC members who have now been pushed to the dustbin of history that there were no losers. You cannot tell NPDP members who in the end have no stake in what is going on, that there are no losers. In fact, Oshiomhole should recognize that there are losers. So what he wants to do with those losers is best known to him. If he still wants them to remain in the party, he should reach out to those losers and tell them, look, there's a future for you in this party. People like Kwankwaso will think that there's no future for them. Because what really can you say is his future in this party?
That day he was with Atiku.
You know? So he stayed away. And
yesterday
he was with Fayose. You know, I saw a picture, I saw him. So those are the losers. Those are the losers. There are losers. It is tongue in cheek to say there are no losers. You know in your heart that there are losers. So if you, as the new leader, you can choose to bring them back and say, gentlemen, Babame Mongoro in Adamawa, I can see clearly that a man that you helped to power has cheated you, but there's a future for you. We'll do something. Don't leave our party. You can bring them back and say, oh, Abdulaziz, I've spoken with your father. He has no plan to leave the party, so I expect you, his son, to remain. So the conversation must start now that Oshiomhole...
Reconciliation.
Yes, to reconcile these people and bring them, cause them to remain in the party.
Okay, let me quickly take this break. When we come back, we're still on the same topic. We'll talk more. Don't go away. Stay with us. Welcome back. It's still Journalist Hangout. Ismail, I was surprised when you said you were at the Eagle Square because the place is so big. We were there too.
Yeah, I actually
we're talking about losers. There's, you know, the national legal advisor, even from Lagos, just served for 4 years and he had opportunity to recontest, but he saw the handwriting on the wall. That's Moise Banire.
Yes, you see, I want to align myself wholly with the submission of Mr. Babajide. Because don't forget that even in 2014, Kashim Imam was running for the position of the National Secretary of the party. And from what he told me, he said he was still discussing with delegates when somebody mounted the podium and announced that he had withdrawn from the race. And that was why he was angry. That was why at the point, himself and Sheriff, they left the party. Now, again, in this convention, he was dragged into the race. Reluctant. He never wanted it, but they said he can do it. Okay, he joined the race. Again, he was stampeded into withdrawing from the race. And you say there are no losers. Architect Waziri Bulama, who is also from Borno State, incidentally, is of the CPC bloc. And he was seen as one of the president's men in that race. When it was very clear that the thing was going to cause some confusion, the Borno State governor had to rally hand, the National Assembly members and his counterpart from Yobe State. If you observe very well, they had to accompany Architect Waziri Bulama to the
stage to come and
say that it was going to when I first read in the papers on Thursday that there was something like a unity list in APC, I say it's not possible. I say so because APC had condemned that same kind of list when PDP had its convention in December. And when I now got to the Eagle Square really, I learned that in fact there were about 3 lists.
Yes, 3.
And they had to be stepping them down one after the other. And I asked myself, I said, look, why is it that most times our leaders, live in hypocrisy? Because if we say something is bad, you should not be doing it.
Well, ultimately, they didn't have any unity list.
Well,
they had elections.
If you say so, but PDP also had elections.
Those contentious
and if you look at the list, Bolaji Abdullahi, for instance, is from the Saraki camp.
Yeah.
Yes. I think he appears to be the only MPDP person who got something in that list. Now, Bolaji's name appeared in all the 3 lists I saw.
It has been decided
and if you look at the margin with which he defeated his opponents,
almost over 2,000.
You know that there had been discussion. Now, like Farouk Adamu Aliyu was one of those who were taking Oshimole about. In fact, he had already seen himself as the next man to Oshimole. But Senator Lawa Shaibu defeated him.
Yes, no.
I have Tunde from Abuja.
And you said there's no loser.
Tunde, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you very much. Let me just, first of all, thank you people for the job you are doing. Mr. Babajide, I really like your contribution and you always say the truth. And God will surely crown your effort.
Amen. And you
say
too.
Something, yes, please, I have 2 contributions. Firstly, on the Fulani SMN and the APC.
Okay, do that quickly.
Hello?
Do that quickly. Yes, you're on.
Thank you. You see, when you talk about the herdsmen, the truth is that our leaders, they are not ready to say the truth. And partly, I will blame the journalists for some certain thing that is happening. Mr. Bajidi said it all. He said that when Basa, that Fulani boy was killed, that was the beginning of this crisis after a very long time break.
Yes.
So very unfortunate. The governor, the people that are supposed to be able to stand the authority, call these people to order. They did it. And I've only been saying people that you don't fight with the people that have nothing to lose. The herdsmen are wanderers. They have anything. Once they attack, they move. But the indigenous, which they are farmers, they hold the land, where that's why they plant. But it's very unfortunate that our governors, they don't do anything about it. And another thing again is that why I blame the press is when these things happen, maybe the press, maybe they look at one side. The moment of this issue of Fulani boy happen, assuming they give it more publicity, maybe even if the government is not taking proactive something, somebody can call him to order.
Okay, to the wrap up.
When I was listening, that
to the wrap up, you said you wanted to contribute.
Hello?
Go to the next one.
And again, please, before I just leave, a lot of killing happened, a reprisal killing happened along Rio.
Okay, thank you, Tunde.
So as I was saying, in Bauchi, Dogara has no base in APC. In Saraki can still swing the votes in Kwara. At least he still has it. Now in Kaduna, is it Unkuyi that you go and tell that there are no losers? When we all know, at least I monitored the Congress, there was no Congress in Kaduna State. And you have technically sent these people away. So Oshimole has
everybody was dancing
throughout. Well, I don't know why he was dancing, because all his candidates lost.
Really?
Yes, even Abdul Kadri that he wanted out at all costs. Abdul Kadri won his election.
Yes, sir.
He has returned.
He demolished Abdul Kadri's house.
He has returned as the Northwest Vice Chairman of the APC.
Against his wish.
Against his wish. And Oshimole knows that El-Rufai was not with him from the beginning.
Yes.
So if Erufa is not careful, he may not have his way, even with Oshimole.
No, he will beg them.
So that means that
remember what happened? That there was a meeting that they were holding.
Yes.
And he wanted to join them. And the governor of Oyo State said, no, you can't join us.
You can't join us.
I'm going to be 70 this year. I don't deceive myself. If the president says something, we go with the president. The president will say something, you will go and be saying something. You are not one of us. And Erufa had to apologize, had to beg them to be allowed to join them in the meeting.
Before that meeting, they had a meeting with the president. In the presence of the president, everyone was saying that those who are supporting Oshimole does not understand the president's body language. The president was sitting down at the same meeting.
That's why they were going to. They even threatened them that, look, we will take the party structure from you.
You understand?
You have to beg them.
In the presence of the president, telling the president that those people who are supporting
remember four of them. Four of them were confronted by the governor of Imo State, that you always behave as if you love Buhari more than everybody. The governor of Kogi, Simon Lalong, the governor of Ondo, and Erufai.
The four of them.
That was why that day they came out of the meeting frowning their faces, because he told them the truth. And that was the genesis of Okorocha's troubles. Because from the beginning, even the national chairman saw that Okorocha was not on his side. Yes. So they said, okay, we'll teach you a lesson. You know? So clearly there are losers. If Erufai presented candidates and those candidates did not emerge, if some of his enemies from in Kaduna, he demolished Abdul Kadri's home.
So it was just dancing for fun.
Yes, so, and Abdul Kadri emerged. Why? Because, you see, he felt that Abdul Kadri was pandering towards Tambua. That's his crime.
Yes. And not only Tambua and Kwankwaso, all of whom he believed were supporting the Unkui camp of the APC in Kaduna.
Of course.
And if
as the leader, he was told to even investigate the crisis in the state.
Masari tried to intervene. Everybody was not sitting in a meeting with anybody. So if Oshimole upholds strictly his party supremacy mantra, everybody will suffer in the hands of Abdul Kadri. Because he's the first
leader of the party in the Northwest.
So he's the first contact.
And he had his house demolished.
Before you go to
if you demolish the home of your party leader, he can wait for you to.
You see, the truth is that Oshimole has a lot of work to do, because we are going into an election. Because they need to do a lot of work.
The primary election is very soon,
September. If they are really interested in retaining power.
If you ask me, the NPDP members, many of them will feel that there is no future for them in the party, except some changes take place, except the new leadership convinces them. Because politics is an interest-driven game. If everything you had been taken away, you are going to ask yourself, that what is next? Why am I still here?
Yeah, what is there for me?
If you allow some very big people like Babame Mongoro and even Kwankwaso, if you leave them with little or nothing. Even in Mayo Belwa, that is the hometown of Babame Mongoro, he does not have a single ward level supporter in the ward ESCO in the state, in that local government. At least even if it is his own ward in Mayo Belwa, even if he gets maybe secretary or chairman of his ward, that is not too much to give someone of that stature, because he has the biggest political movement in the state. But it was a winner-takes-all affair that Bendo carried out. So you have Babame Mongoro does not have a single person. So that means in the whole of the scheme of things, he does not have a stake.
And if that structure moves out of APC, there's no way APC can retain.
No, they can't win the state if they move out. They can't.
There's no way APC can win the state.
It was that structure that supported him, and he
was able to defeat Atiku's candidate. So, who has been doing Adama Police?
So Shomole has the work cut out for him.
So much work to do. The real people lost out. He has to reach out to them and stop telling us.
And in most of the states, those are the real politicians.
Yes, now. Unkuyi, everyone knows, is a grassroots politician in Kaduna.
All right. I want to thank you, Ismail Omikbidon.
Thank you.
And the maestro himself, Babajide Kolade Otitojo. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that's all on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on all our other platforms showing on the screen. You can also catch us on YouTube. That's youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Uzubaku. See you soon. God bless Nigeria.